Many thanks for joining us. We begin the news from the national scene where President Bola Tinubu yesterday called on young Nigerians active in the digital media space to enhance their platforms as instruments of national unity. Speaking at the opening of the Progressive Digital Media Summit, themed to unveiling the critical role of new media in national development, Tinubu emphasized the importance of verifying information before amplifying it. He urged the youth to serve as positive catalysts for societal development by building businesses that create employment and producing content that reflect unifying values. The president commended the creativity and resilience of Nigerians' youth, describing digital media as a driving force of economic and social transformation rather than a mere accessory to life. In the meantime, the special advisor to the president on information and strategy, Bayo Onanuga, has defended the reward package given to the Super Falcons following their victory at the 2024 Women's African Cup of Nations in Morocco. Onanuga, in a post on his X handle, expressed surprise at the criticism from some Nigerians over the presidential rewards, questioning why the gesture was being met with disapproval. He drew a comparison with the BB Niger reality show, pointing out that its winners received a 150 million grand prize. Recall that President Bola Tinubu offered each player a cash reward of $100,000 and each coach and support staff member $50,000. He also conferred the national honor of the Office of the Order of the Niger on all 24 players and 11 technical crew members. Additionally, each member of the team will receive a 3-bedroom apartment under the federal government's Renewed Hope housing scheme. In this next report, the presidency says President Tinubu deserves the opportunity to seek re-election, just like his predecessor, the late Mohamed Buhari. The special advisor to President Tinubu on information and strategy, Bayo Onanuga, stated this during an interview with newsmen on Wednesday. Onanuga called on northern politicians to be patient and allow the South to complete its turn in power, pointing out that the South had equally waited through Buhari's 8-year tenure. Also, President Bola Tinubu has directed the immediate employment of 200 National Youth Service Corps honorees in the Federal Civil Service. The president also announced 250,000 naira cash award for the 200 honorees in recognition of the outstanding service during the 2020 and 2023 service years. This is as President Tinubu showed empathy to 10 physically challenged former court members who sustained varying degrees of disability while serving, directing that they should be offered federal employment and assuring them that the government would never forget their sacrifice. The president, represented by the Minister of State for Labor and Employment, Nkiruka Onyejocha, at the combined President NYSC Honors Award ceremony in Abuja, celebrated the awardees for their discipline, commitment, selflessness, teamwork, patriotism, and integrity, while assuring the honorees that the head of Civil Service of the Federation and the chairman of the Federal Civil Service Commission will immediately begin their employment process. The Director General of National Youth Service Corps, Brigadier General Olakunle Nafiu, in his remarks, lauded the contributions of the Nigerian youth to the nation's progress. Away from that, Vice President Kashim Shettima has said that the federal government is committed to improving the output of the smaller holder farmers with modern input and funding. Shettima, who disclosed this in a meeting with the president of the International Fund for Agricultural Development, Alvaro Lariat, underscored the administration's resolve to empower the farmers, especially youth and women, with access to finance and mechanization. The VP also held high-level bilateral meetings with top executives of other key global food and development agencies, including the Director General of the Food and Agriculture Organization, Q. Dongyu, and Executive Director of the World Food Programme, Cindy McCain. Also within the week, First Lady Remi Tinubu announced a 1 billion naira donation by the Renewed Hope Initiative to support families displaced by a suspected Hadas attack in Benue State. She made the announcement at the new banquet hall of the Benue State Government House during her condolence visit to the state, following the attack on Yelawata community in June, which claimed over 100 lives. According to her, the donation aligned with the mission of the Renewed Hope Initiative and is intended to help displaced families regain stability, return to their livelihood, and build better lives. Moving away from that, the federal government has announced a 50% increase in scholarship grants to Nigerian students across all tertiary levels. It said the landmark reform of Nigeria's National Scholarship Program, its most ambitious overhaul in more than a decade, was aimed at easing the financial burdens on students and families while enhancing access to quality education for all. The Minister of Education, Olatunji Alausa, who announced this in a statement posted on his X, said the decision was in line with the government's unwavering commitment to building a more inclusive and knowledge-driven nation. In the meantime, the Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, Abubakar Bagudu, has said that the 19 northern states experienced a 42.6% debt reduction from 1.98 trillion naira to 1.14 trillion naira as a result of the economic reforms of President Bola Tinubu's administration. His remarks were contained in a statement issued by the ministry during his presentation to Ahmadu Bello Memorial Foundation at a two-day interactive session on government citizens engagement held in Kaduna. He also noted that the debt portfolio of the 36 states and Abuja was reduced by 33.4% from 5.8 trillion naira to 3.8 trillion naira under the President Debt Financial Engineering. Bagudu said these results demonstrate the tangible benefits of macro-fiscal reforms, adding that the Renewed Hope agenda is delivering real value to citizens through improved subnational fiscal capacity. Also, the federal government within the week ordered an immediate suspension of all land allocations and reclamation activities along the Lagos Lagoon shoreline, including Banana Island, as part of sweeping reforms to restore order and curb environmental degradation. The move follows a directive from President Bola Tinubu, who mandated the Federal Ministry of Housing and Urban Development to streamline shoreline development processes and ensure compliance with approved urban plans. In response, the Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Architect Ahmed Dangiwa, has set up a joint technical interministerial committee to review, examine and harmonize all approvals and development along the shoreline. The committee is tasked with ensuring proper documentation, eliminating abuse, and aligning all activities with the federal government's urban development goals. According to a statement released by the minister, all existing approvals issued by the ministry for the issuance of certificates of occupancy must now be submitted to the Federal Controller of Housing in Lagos for verification and record keeping. We move now to the Red Chambers, where The Senate Committee on Public Accounts has given the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited 21 days to provide detailed explanation on financial discrepancies totaling 210 trillion naira, even as its Group Chief Executive Officer, Bayo Ojulari, pleaded for more time to respond adequately. Appearing before the committee in response to an earlier summons, police study and understand the issues flagged in the company's audited financial statement covering the period from 2017 to 2023. The financial concerns revolve around 103 trillion naira in liabilities and 107 trillion naira in assets, figures that lawmakers described as troubling and largely unsubstantiated. The chairman of the committee, Senator Aliyu Wadada, said that the figures raised red flags, adding that the 210 trillion naira in question was extracted directly from NNPCL's audited financial statement, and the company is expected to provide concrete explanations for both its liabilities and assets. Following an appeal from the CEO, the committee directed the NNPCL to return with a comprehensive and reconciled response within 21 days. Still in the red chambers, the Senate has debunked reports suggesting a clash between the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, and the Senate leader, Okoyemi Bamidele, during a recent executive session. The chairman of the Senate Committee on Media and Public Affairs, Yemi Adaramudum, who clarified, described the claims as baseless and misleading. Recall that the report surfaced alleging a heated exchange between Akpabio and Bamidele during an executive session of the Senate held on Tuesday, July 23, 2025. The report claimed that both leaders clashed over alleged internal wrangling within the Senate, with suggestions of growing discontent among senators about Akpabio's leadership style and decision-making approach. Denying the claims, Adaramunu said no altercation occurred, adding that what took place was a routine internal discussion which was being wrongly framed as a power tussle. He stated that the Senate remained united and fully supportive of his leadership, stressing that robust debate during executive sessions were not unusual and should not be mistaken for conflict. Let's move now to the Green Chambers, where the House of Representatives has proposed a single day for the conduct of the 5 elections in 2027. If the proposal is upheld, the reviewed Electoral Act would empower the Independent National Electoral Commission to simultaneously conduct the presidential, senatorial, House of Representatives, governorship, and House of Assembly polls in one day. Other amendments being proposed by the lower chamber of the National Assembly include the payment of 50 million naira by political associations seeking registrations as parties, restriction of presidential election expenses to 10 billion naira, conduct of elections 120 days before the expiration of the incumbent term, and determination of election petitions within 90 days after the exercise. The House also took steps to end series of by-elections arising from resignations and death of elected members of the State and National Assembly, proposing that parties who sponsored the lawmaker who died or resigned be made to produce his replacement. Still in the Green Chambers, the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives within the week, Benjamin Kalu, has withdrawn the indigenship bill before Parliament for further legislative engagement. This was confirmed in a statement by the Green Chambers. Kalu explained that the withdrawal had become necessary in light of the concerns and constructive feedback received from various stakeholders regarding the bill. He added that the bill analysis report forwarded by the National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies also made it imperative for him to step down the bill. In a separate development, prominent northern political, traditional and business leaders within the week converged on the historic city of Kaduna State to assess the performance of President Bola Tinubu's administration 2 years after assuming office. The meeting, currently holding at the Awara House, the former residence of the late Premier of Northern Nigeria, Sir Ahmadu Bello, was convened by Sir Ahmadu Bello Memorial Foundation, a socio-political think tank committed to championing the ideals of the late Skaduna. The gathering, which continues, attracted a cross-section of the North Crimea, former governors, ex-ministers, traditional rulers, technocrats, civil society actors, and religious leaders, underscoring the seriousness with which the region views its place in the unfolding Nigerian narrative under Tinubu. On electoral matters, the Independent National Electoral Commission has said that the 2025 continuous voter registration exercise will begin nationwide on August 18th. INEC disclosed this on its X handle yesterday. The agency said online pre-registration of voters will open on August 18 through its official portal cvr.inecnigeria.org. It stated that in-person registration would begin a week later on August the 25th. This is said would be held nationwide at all local government areas, office, and designated registration centers. INEC said the exercise will be held from Monday to Friday, beginning at 9 a.m. and ending at 3 p.m. In education, the academic activities within the week have been grounded at the Lagos State University following the commencement of an indefinite strike by staff unions. The grief staff down tools on Thursday over unresolved issues with the university management. These comprised of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, Non-Academic Staff Union, and National Association of Academic Technologists. The Joint Action Committee announced the decision in a letter dated July 31, 2025, addressed to Vice Chancellor Pro Ibiyemi Olatunji Bello. The notice obtained from newsmen was signed by ASU LASU Chairman and Secretary Professor Ibrahim A. Bakare and Sylvester O. Idiowo, as well as SANU LASU Chairman and Secretary Oluwaseyin Lawal and Wahid Mejakodunmi. They directed all members of the staff of universities and its affiliated campuses at Lagos State University College of Medicine, Ikeja, and Lagos State University Ekpe campus to withdraw their services and vacate the official duty posts with immediate effect. Back here, Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Moino has restated the commitment of his administration to invest in education as it is central to the development blueprint of his administration. The governor gave the assurance when the Board of Tertiary Education Trust Fund, led by its chairman Aminu Bello Masari, paid a courtesy visit to him in Government House, Uyo. He said his administration has thus far focused more on primary education and has built more primary schools across the 31 local government areas in the state. Beyond the structures, he said the government has provided schools, school uniforms, books, shoes, and bags for the pupils to encourage learning, stressing that his government will continue to focus on education as a critical component of the RISE agenda. He also announced that government will soon flag off model secondary schools The governor assured that his administration will stop at nothing to ensure quality and qualitative education for Akwa Ibom children. The governor said the state executive council meeting was extended to accommodate the courtesy visit given to the strategic importance of the visit and appreciate a tax fund for the support to tertiary education in the state and Akwa Ibom State University in particular. Let's take a listen.
We warmly welcome you to Akwa Ibom State. Permit me to again condole you on the exit of a former president of this country who has been your bosom friend and also hails from Katsina State. Let me again, on behalf of the government and people of Akwa Ibom State, salute and commend your leadership, TED Fund, not just for Akwa Ibom but around the country. You have led the agency to continue to provide transformative interventions in the tertiary institutions in Nigeria through funding of effective projects. I want to thank you particularly for not leaving Akwa Ibom State behind. Akwa Ibom remains grateful for this partnership. We continue to focus on education as a critical pillar of our rights agenda. As a matter of fact, the E is education. And our focus is to provide enabling environment, support for our educational institutions from primary to tertiary level. We as a state, under this administration, have become more focused on our primary education. We're building model primary schools in all of the 31 local government areas of the state to help our young people. Very soon we'll be flagging off model secondary schools, and we intend to do that in the 3 senatorial districts.
Asari has said they were in the state to commission project at ASU, saying they were even more delighted than the recipient institutions to have the project completed and commissioned. He commended the governor for his development strides, the peaceful ambience and hospitality they enjoyed since arrival, saying the board has agreed to host its annual retreat in the state.
Your Excellency, I am very pleased. We in TED Fund are always more happier than the recipient institution when projects are completed on time and within budget. So when I was shown what was done in Akwa Ibom State University, I said I will come myself and commission the project. I came, I saw, and I'm happy with what I saw. And also, I will carry the burden to the Board of Trustees with regards to the needs of Akwa Ibom State University that I have seen. Some are obvious. Some the Vice Chancellor has requested. And again, my old colleague and friend, Senator Udo Odoma, will be looking at me and say, okay, he has come. What will he bring? So I assure you that within the powers of the Board of Trustees and within the available resources, I assure you that we have seen an area that will intervene, and God willing will intervene.
The Vice Chancellor of AXU, Professor Nse Sien, said the board commissioned a very important project including the Faculty of Biological Science building, Faculty of Physical Science building, Faculty of Engineering Phase 1 building, Faculty of Management Science building, among others. Essien, who acknowledged that the university has benefited immensely from tax fund, expressed optimism that the team's visit to the governor will yield more dividends to the state. Meanwhile, Akwa Ibom State Government has approved the State Medium-Term Expenditure Framework and Fiscal Strategy Paper for 2026 to 2028 in accordance with Section 18 of the State Fiscal Responsibility Law. The State's Commissioner for Information, Anyeka Numana, disclosed these while briefing Government House correspondents shortly after the State Executive Council meeting presided over by Governor Umoino. He noted that approval was given following the presentation by the Commissioner for Budget and Economic Planning, Linus Nkan, adding that the three-year indicative framework based on macroeconomy assumptions is to be awarded to the Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly for legislative action. According to him, the Executive Council, as a follow-up to the presentation by the Ministry of Finance, deliberated on a report on harmonization of the IGR Treasury Single Account and approved the formal adoption of the TSA policy to enhance revenue efficiency, block leakages, and promote transparency, noting that the TSA platform, Akwa Remit, alongside the State Land Management Platform, Akwakis, are scheduled for the official launch on September 1st, 2025. Let's take a listen.
In accordance with Section 18(1) of the State Fiscal Responsibility Law, the Executive Council, following the presentation by the Honorable Commissioner for Budget and Economic Planning, considered and approved the Akwa Ibom State Medium-Term Expenditure Framework and Fiscal Strategy Paper (MTEF/FSP) for 2026 to 2028. The three-year indicative framework based on macroeconomic assumptions was approved to be forwarded to the Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly for legislative action. The Executive Council, as a follow-up to the presentation by the Ministry of Finance, deliberated on the report of the harmonization of IGR Treasury Single Account (TSA) and approved the formal adoption of the TSA policy to enhance revenue efficiency, block leakages, and promote transparency in the system. The TSA platform, Akwa Remit, alongside the State Lands Management Platform, Akwa GIS, are scheduled for official launch on September 1st, 2025.
Also, Council resolved to ensure the continued maintenance of the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium and ratify the Finance and General Purpose Committee on the renewal of the maintenance contract with Julius Berger PLC for an additional one-year term effective July 1st, 2025. He noted that Council also considered and approved an FGPC memo from the Commissioner for Finance and Supervising Commissioner for Special Duties and Ibom Deep Sea Port on additional works at Ewit Luxury Estate occasioned by topographical challenges and revised architectural designs for the project. Government House Correspondent January reports that as part of efforts to consolidate the Rice Food Security Program, Council considered the report for the Commissioner for Humanitarian Affairs and approved the commencement of Phase 3 of the free food distribution programs across the 31 local government areas beginning August 20, 2025. Elsewhere, Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Moino has announced the donation of a parcel of land for the establishment of barracks for the forward operational base of the Nigerian Air Force in the state. At a courtesy visit on him by the Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Hassan Bala Abubakar, at the Government House Uyo, the governor made a presentation of the land document. He also said the state under his leadership was committed to sustaining the trajectory of security in the state and expressed hope that the Air Force Base could be of great value in protecting the state and national boundaries. The governor, who has paid a high premium on security since assumption of office, said the state will continue to partner with all the security agencies, including NAV and Earth Force, to continue with its good works in the state and the country generally. Governor Eno, who appreciated the Chief of Air Staff for the academic standard at the Air Force School, requested some concession to enable the school to accommodate more Akwa Ibom children. In his remarks, Dr. Air Marshal Abubakar appreciated the governor for the land donation, his continued support to national security initiative, and for the proactive vision in creating and promoting infrastructural development and investment in the state. He stressed that the land donated will not only fast-track the setting up of necessary facilities for the strategic progress, but will add great value for both national defense and homeland security in support of other forms of civil commercial enterprise. According to him, the FOB, when established, would provide further assurance of safety and security of persons and properties, thereby fostering the entrenchment of Akwa Ibom State as a very good investment and tourism destination. He said the transfer of airstrip to NAF would help to extend air power for national security, protection of territorial integrity, as well as support the drive to promote a thriving blue economy, adding that NAV could be better positioned to protect critical national assets around the Akwa Ibom State shoreline when they become fully appreciated. He appreciated the governor for the warm reception and hospitality for his team and assured of continuous support for the security component of the Arise there. In this next report, in Akwa Ibom State, health services have been significantly disrupted as nurses under the National Association of Nurses and Midwives continues a statewide strike. The action, which entered its third day, health correspondent.
But they've been paying deaf ears to our concerns. We've been battling with a lot of them, which poor remunerations, poor working environment, poor starving. When I was a student, we used to go for clinical experience in the hospitals. We used to have minimum of 3 nurses per shift, but today we have only 1 nurse, and we don't even have enough to cover all the 3 shifts. You know, as nurses we work per shift, morning shift, 8 hours per shift, 3 within 24 hours. But today, we might have 1 nurse working from morning, sometimes no one to take over the afternoon shift. Thereby extending the number of hours we discharge our duties per day. It's a very serious concern, and we've drawn the attention of the government to employ. It's very pathetic to tell the masses that instead of government to do their job, they are inflicting us by depriving us of our rights. We had broken out of JOESU, and we are demanding for a new salary structure that will accommodate only nurses, since government are always afraid of large number of persons. This has not been approved, has not been implemented for us, and many more concerns. So we are calling on the government to come to our aid and meet our demands so that it can return to save our people better. It's not.
Also speaking on the situation, the head of nursing services, Jelly George Akman, described the condition of hospitals as deeply troubling, while also lamenting the poor state of nurses' welfare. She further advocated for graduate nurses to be admitted as interns and encouraged striking nurses to remain hopeful.
Follow due process right from the onset, where we gave 15 days ultimatum to the government.
Personally, I feel for our patients.
Don't keep them, the stuff we no click.
But the whole thing has brought a downturn into the services that we render in our facility. There's a lot of our patients that are groaning, that are lamenting, some in very critical state, but there's nothing we can do. A lot of them were to be discharged home because I had to meet the Chairman Medical Advisory Committee, who is the Director of Clinical. And I told him in a candid manner to please tell our doctors and consultants who are on ground to discharge as many that are stable. And as many that are not stable, they should be referred to maybe private hospitals or even specialists. My interest was even at the newborn unit, special care babies unit, where we had two premature babies that were in the incubator. And these were precious children that the parents had waited for years before they had them. So I said they should move them to a multi-specialty hospital because at least I'm sure they have incubators there. So a lot of our patients were moved home. The services are not going on, except for few critical ones that cannot step out of bed. Then the house officers have to come, just see what they can do. The registrars, the doctors, they come around to go on strike.
Meanwhile, patients also called on authorities to swiftly resolve the ongoing crisis, citing its impact on already fragile healthcare services.
Affected my child because my child was supposed to go for surgery since on Thursday, that was yesterday. But because there are no nurses to take care of the child after the surgery, there is no nurse in the ward that will take care of this child. Because of that, the surgery has been postponed till further notice, which I don't even know when. I am just here like that. I am pleading to the government. I use the name of God and beg the government that he should settle the nurses. They should settle the nurses because these nurses are the people that are caring for the children in the ward. The doctors will do their own part, but it is the nurses that take care of the children in the ward. So many things that the nurses do, like vital sign. My child's own was stopped since on Wednesday, that day that the nurses started their strike. Nobody is taking care of the child. Even the child is on catheter. They are the ones that normally change the urine, despise the urine. But now I'm the one doing it myself. When the doctor come and set in injection for the child, I'm the one that will go and stop the drip. I don't even know how to do it. Many times the thing tissue, because I cannot handle it. That is not my field. I don't know what to do about it. So it's unfair. There are so many children in this world that are suffering. They are suffering because it is the nurses that always tell the doctors what is happening to the patient. And then the doctors will then come and do something about it. But there is no nurse. Nobody. They don't even check the children's temperature. Nobody. Please, government, please do something about the nurses. They are the ones that care for the health of the children.
Although the strike is expected to last 7 days, there were growing concerns that the nurses may extend or escalate their action if demands remain unmet. After the break, federal government says nurses, midwives have called off the strike. Stay tuned for this and many more in just a moment. Many thanks for staying tuned. We move now to Africa, where Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni has met with Tunisia President Kais Saied in Tunis to discuss Italy's ambitious Mattia plans for Africa and ways to strengthen cooperation between the two nations. The talks, held at the Tunisian Presidential Palace, centered on economic development, energy diversification, and curbing irregular migration. Named after Enrico Mattia, The Mataya Plan is Rome's flagship strategy to foster sustainable development in Africa. The initiative aims to reduce migration pressures by creating jobs, improving infrastructure, and establishing what Meloni describes as a non-predatory partnership between Europe and Africa. Reports say key sectors targeted under the plan include education, healthcare, water and sanitation, agriculture and energy infrastructure. On the foreign scene, Iran has rejected accusations by the US and more than a dozen of its allies that Tehran has attempted to kill or kidnap dissident journalists and officials in Western countries. In a statement, Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesman Ismaili Bakir described the claims as baseless, calling them an attempt to divert public attention from the most pressing issue of the day, the genocide in occupied Palestine. Western governments, including the United States, Britain and France and Germany, condemned in a joint statement on Thursday the growing number of state threats from Iranian intelligence services in their respective territories. Still on the foreign scene, former U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris has announced she will provide an inside look at her unsuccessful 2024 presidential run against Donald Trump in a book titled 107 Days. The MSG Hakimi to face rape trial. Stay tuned for details of this in just a moment. Many thanks for staying tuned. In sport, French prosecutors called for Paris Saint-Germain star Achraf Hakimi to face trial for the alleged rape of a woman in 2023, which the Moroccan international denies. The Nigerian prosecutor's office told newsmen that they had requested that the investigating judge referred the rape charge to a criminal court. Hakimi, aged 26, played a major role in PSG's first Champions League title, the fullback scoring the opener in the 5-0 rout of Inter Milan in the final in May. Hakimi, who helped Morocco to their historic run to the semi-finals of the 2022 World Cup, was charged in March 2023 with raping a 24-year-old woman. In the meantime, Hakimi allegedly paid for his accuser to travel to his home on February 25, 2023 in the Paris suburb of Bologna, while his wife and children were away on holiday. The woman went to a police station following the encounter, alleging rape, and was questioned by the police. Elsewhere, reigning world and Olympic champions Noah Lyles has withdrawn from the semi-finals of the 100 meters at the U.S. Track and Field Championship in Oregon on Friday, following the victory in the opening heat. Lyles, who won gold over the 100 meters at last year's Paris Olympics, clocked 10.5 seconds in the first round event at the Eugenides Hathaway Field on Thursday, the fifth fastest time of qualifying. Although the week's meeting in Eugene is qualifying event for the World Championship in Tokyo in September, Lyles is already guaranteed a spot on the team due to his status as the reigning 100 meters world champion. Still in sport, the governor of Adamawa State, Amadu Fintiri, has honored Super Falcons coach Justine Madugu with a 50 million naira cash gift and a 3-bedroom house following recent victory at the 2024 Women's African Cup of Nations WAFCON. Governor Fintiri announced via his official X handle on Friday, stating that the gesture was in recognition of Madugu's patriotism and contribution to the national team's success at the tournament. Madugu, who hails from Adamawa State, led the Super Falcons to victory in 2024 AFCON final. The Nigerian team staged a spirited comeback to defeat the host nation, Morocco 3-2 on Saturday, clinching the championship for a record-extending 10th time. The Falcon had earlier arrived in Abuja on Monday to a presidential reception hosted by the President Bola Tinubu. Lastly, on our news within the week, Big Brother Naija BB Naija Season 10 contestant Joanna has become the first female to win the first arena game in the show's history. Joanna won the game after she completed the challenge in 3 minutes 15 seconds. She broke the trend of male dominance in the first arena game from the previous seasons. As directed by Big Brother, her performance earned her cheers and chant from other housemates. Also, Big Brother assured that Joanna would receive her reward at the appropriate time. And that's all we have for you at this time. To ensure to follow us on social media, subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website at spectrumtvlive.ng. I am Emedion James, and you've been watching Spectrum News within the week. Do enjoy the rest of the day. Bye for now and happy weekend.
Spectrum TV, broadening your horizon.